Good morning. It is Tuesday, September the 14th, 2021. This is Wake Up with Ray G and my man Jordan Richards. How y'all good people doing today? Week 1 of the NFL season is a wrap. It is over after a wild Monday Night Football game in which I did not watch the entire thing. I couldn't make it, y'all. I had the iPad in the bed. Wife was asleep. I'm trying to watch. It was not good the first half, and apparently I missed a very riveting second half. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I woke up, I checked the stats. I saw Twitter buzzing about Bryan Edwards going off in the fourth quarter. I mean, there was an APB out for him in the entire first half, first two and a half, 3 quarters. And then, boom, I missed an overtime matchup. Jay, did you watch the Raiders-Ravens game, the battle? And that's my hometown, Vegas. I'm a fraud. I didn't watch it. Did you see the game? Did you watch the whole game?
Yes, I did this morning because I couldn't stay up. I was too late for me. So, but I'm here though. I watched the whole thing, and you did miss a good one. I'm assuming you didn't catch it this morning.
No.
Bryan Edwards really did show up at the end of that game. So there was 37 seconds left on the clock. He got 2 passes, and he almost caught the walk-off touchdown. Spectacular performance from him. Again, it was a little bit late, but better late than never. Dude showed out when it mattered. Raiders, though, gutsy win. And now, officially, the West dominating the NFL. AFC West, NFC West, undefeated in Week 1 so far. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. And
both divisions undefeated.
We'll dive into that game in a little bit. But we do have some quick-hitting news, and I'm seeing the comments roll in. Bryan Edwards looked damn hot. Okay, I'm just asking. I watched the first 2.5 quarters. I didn't see him. So was it they finally started targeting him? Like what was it? Because he wasn't.
It was a bit of both. He
wasn't doing anything when I was watching early. Like nothing was happening. Nothing.
Yeah, it was all Derek Carr early. It was all Derek Carr early going to Darren Waller, but you know what? For whatever reason, when it was late, they decided to target him, and these weren't just like, oh, we're gonna get him the ball. They were tight windows, especially the play to almost win the game. Back shoulder throw.
I saw that.
He came back and got it. Dove to the end zone. Great play. But yeah, it was a weird game script, and honestly, they were running the ball pretty effectively too with Jacobs. He was a little bit banged up, but I don't think it was a circumstance of him not getting targets. He was kind of open, but eventually Carr had to go to him because they were doubling Waller. They were looking at Ruggs. They were looking at Hunter Renfrow. He was the guy who had to make the play, and he did. So good for him, honestly.
So I'm seeing people saying the target started flow. Dude, we're supposed to do the news first, and we're just diving right into this. But I'm seeing the target started flowing in the end because the Ravens doubled Waller and Renfrow. Renfrow was balling out like that? Hunter Renfrow was balling out like that?
They put Marlon Humphrey on Hunter Renfrow early. Like, Hunter Renfrow had one drive where he caught about 2 or 3 passes, kept converting these third downs, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, forget like we done with this. Marlon, go cover him. And so he got locked down a little bit after that. But yeah, it was just they decided that they were going to put everything on Renfrow and everything on Waller. So it was Zay Jones who caught the game-winning touchdown, Bryan Edwards who made a few really key plays down the stretch, and then Henry Ruggs who made a couple big catches too.
Wait a minute. So I am strictly stat box score watching, like calling this game. Lamar Jackson had 3 fumbles and lost 2 of them?
Yeah, I don't know if one of the fumbles was fair. There was a fumbled handoff during the game between him and Tyson Williams.
Okay.
So that may be one of the ones that he recovered. Okay. But the one to pretty much end the game was after the Bryan Edwards catch and almost touchdown, interception in the end zone off of Willie Snead's hands on the 3rd down play. And then Lamar Jackson came down. It was actually Mark Andrews on 2nd down, dropped a pass that was contested by Abraham. Mm-hmm. The safety for the Raiders. Abrams. Yeah, Jonathan Abrams. Yeah. He contested it. Mark Andrews dropped it. 3rd down, pass rush, collapsed on Lamar Jackson, and he fumbles on like the 30-yard line. And that's when the Raiders ultimately end up scoring their walk-off touchdown right after that with about 6 minutes to go.
All right. We'll jump into the Raiders game in a minute. We do have some quick news points. Man, the comments are popped. Buy window closed. I see that's my man Jorgen from Germany tapping in at his lunchtime, man. Let me see. Quick hitting NFL news. So it's confirmed that Washington football team quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick out 6 to 8 weeks with a hip injury. So Taylor Heineke is the starter. Could be the starter for the rest of the season. Man, this just sucks, dude. And I remember us vividly talking about the way that Fitzpatrick, and this injury had nothing to do with what we talked about, but we both were saying, like, at some point Taylor Heinicke was going to play because Ryan Fitzpatrick just YOLO, DGAF type attitude. You love his competitive spirit, puts himself in situations where he does get hit, he does get rocked, he gives himself up. He leaves it all on the field. And we were like, dude, at some point another quarterback is going to play. Did not see this happening week one. Sucks for Ryan Fitzpatrick, 6 to 8 weeks. So, I mean, I'm hoping that we get to see some more of him a little bit, for his sake. But Taylor Heinicke, and I like the kid. And apparently Washington liked him as well. They gave him a 2-year extension, in the offseason. So he's probably going to be the guy. We kind of talked about yesterday, would Ron Rivera bring in Cam Newton? Would they bring Cam in to sort of back up Heinicke, to push that job? I think it's Heinicke's job, but they're going to have to bring somebody else in to back up Heinicke because they've got a good defense. They can contend for the NFC East title, but without a quarterback, that would be virtually impossible. So that's tough for that's a tough break for, in my opinion, the entire Washington team. We saw Terry McLaurin. He didn't have the game that we expected him to have. We were expecting him to have 1 million targets a game, especially with Curtis Samuel on the IR, De'Ami Brown, a rookie wide receiver, Cam Sims. It was really like Logan Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and Antonio Gibson. So, in your opinion, how does this change the outlook for the football team? And a lot of people in fantasy are wondering, what do I do with Terry McLaurin today?
Oh, man, this is a killer. You know that I'm a huge Terry McLaurin fan, and I do believe that he can get it done regardless of the quarterback situation. He kind of already showed that a little bit. But unfortunately, we have to admit, this pretty much caps his ceiling. We know that Heinicke can run a little bit, so there just may be more chances where he's going to run the ball instead of throwing the ball. To your point, that DGAF attitude that Fitz has, he'll throw it to someone in double coverage and triple coverage. He doesn't care. He trusts his guy to get the ball. That's not going to happen with Taylor Heinicke. He doesn't have the same job security. He doesn't have the same confidence. Maybe on certain throws where he has to. You never know. But I don't think we're expecting that. And ultimately, we're probably going to expect them to lean more on the run game. I do think they can be fine. They've shown before that Taylor Heinicke can get it done. He can run the offense. He's at least been there in that system before. Played pretty damn well in a playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Probably gave them the biggest challenge they had all postseason. So how does it affect the outlook for the pass catchers? It's not good. I think for Antonio Gibson, though, it could be good. He still had 90 yards, but I believe he fumbled in that game. But again, with the threat of Heinicke's ability to run, it's probably good for him. And then we'll see. The pass catchers, the short passing game probably improves a little bit, but that deep passing game to De'Ami Brown, to Terry McLaurin, it's probably pretty much dead for the most part.
And what's concerning, man, is they only threw the ball, and I get it. It's a product of in-game injury. It just kind of wrecks your entire game plan. So I don't think week one is a fair assessment of how the offense is going to look for the rest of the season. But they only threw the ball 21 times in a game in which it was competitive, right? And the leading target getter was Antonio Gibson with 5 targets, McLaurin with 4, and Logan Thomas with 3. I mean, and De'Ami Brown had 4 targets as well. It's just one of them situations where it's like, man, can we get it? McLaurin is trending down this Allen Robinson path where we're just like, can he please get a quarterback? And unfortunately, I mean, he's already 25. It seems like he's so young, but he's already 25 years old. When is his birthday? Let's see when he turns. Does he turn 26 during the season?
I don't believe so.
No, he just turned 25. No, shit. He turns 26 tomorrow.
No way. Well, that's happy birthday.
Yeah,
okay.
Terry McLaurin turns 26 tomorrow. So already 26 years old. I don't know, man. It sucks because, next year they draft a quarterback. Let's just say it takes that quarterback a year to really acclimate and get comfortable in the NFL. Now you're looking at a player who, he'll be 27 next year. So you're talking about his age 28 season where he could really have a quarterback that's competent enough to get him the quality targets that he needs in order to be a free agent too,
right? At 28. At 28, he'll be a free agent. So he only has this year and next. So to your point about the quarterback situation, if they do draft a quarterback, the quarterback doesn't look good. He's uncertain. He does have the right to leave at least because he's a 3rd-round pick, so he only has a 4-year deal. So he can leave. Thank God.
Yeah,
and maybe he can go to a team with a competent quarterback. But to your point, 28 years old.
If he tries to do that, I'm assuming they'll probably franchise him and not let him go, have him on that 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just trending down, MT. Like, it feels like Michael Thomas hasn't been in the league that long, but he's 28, 29 years old already. Yeah, man, long term, this is, McLaurin, not good. All right, more news. Raheem Mostert headed to IR, expected to miss 8+ weeks. And this news caused a little bit of a frenzy on the old Twitterverse yesterday because everybody was crying and complaining about victory laps. I literally said nothing. I just kind of poked fun at the people. But Elijah Mitchell was somebody that I was high on in the pre-draft process. I thought I've been on record, Breakout Finder Show and Roto Underworld. Shout out to the Roto Underworld crew. I see Cody Carpentier in here. Make sure you tapped into him. Cody, Matt Kelly, Josh Larkey. They've got a lot of dope stuff happening over there. But I was on there multiple times, and I said that I thought Elijah Mitchell, bold prediction, would outscore Trey Sermon in 2021. And so far, the prediction looks good. It's only 1 weekend. We still got 16 weeks. Yeah. Here's my thought with the 49ers backfield. I think Trey Sermon's going to be active this week, and I think he's going to play, man. I mean, they're down Mostert. Nope. I highly doubt they're just going to roll into next week with JaMychal Hasty and Elijah Mitchell as their only two running backs. And JaMychal Hasty plays special teams as well, so you got to have another rotational running back in there as well. And I think Trey Sermon is going to play. I do think he's going to factor in, but I do not think Elijah Mitchell is going to be relegated to the bench. So how much, and people have asked me, like, Ray, how much fab would you spend? And we're talking fantasy real quick. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really, some people like have all these, you use this percentage. I'm like, I don't give a damn. If I want to do it, I'm going to spend as much as I feel like I need to for that team and for that league to secure the guy. Would I unload the clip on Elijah Mitchell this week?
I don't think I could. I think I'd cap it about 65, 70% of my fab.
Yeah, I don't think I'd unload the clip on him, but I'd
because
put up
uncertainty in that backfield is.
I still don't think we know, man. It felt good for week one. Like the people who had him, the people who actually played him, which I'd be interested to see how many people actually threw him in their lineup. But congrats, man. Like listen, we all want to win our week ones, man. Like we all want to win our week ones. Just like an NFL team, we want to win our week ones. I think he's going to be a good back, and it's going to adjust some of those. I was trying to look for Trey Sermon prop lines out there for his over-under rushing yard season totals, and I didn't see any. But I listen, so y'all got to listen to me. I'm right a lot more than I'm wrong, man. I'm just
okay. Relax now. Relax. You just said you're not taking victory laps, but here you are on the show. Taking a little one.
I'm just stretching. I'm not even running, man. I'm just stretching. It's no lap. I'm just stretching. But yeah, Elijah Mitchell should be dope for the 49ers. I am ecstatic right now because the USC I could put the helmet on if we need to put the USC helmet on. But the USC
it's a good day to be
Trojans,
a Trojan fan.
The USC Trojans finally, after 8 years of mediocrity, 46-24 was his record, getting blown out by a team that's projected to win fewer than 4 games in the Pac-12. The USC Trojans have fired Clay Helton. He is relieved of his duties. He is out of Southern California. Thank you, football gods. Clay Helton is gone. This is about 5 years too late. It was a great day, and after the beatdown that USC took versus Stanford, I figured this was going to happen. I was like, they cannot continue to put this product on the field. UCLA is looking good. Oregon is beating Ohio State, and then here we are losing to Stanford. Who probably has nobody of consequence that's on the draft radar for 2022. They get blown out. Clay Helton is gone, which inevitably spurs the rumors of one Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, Urban Meyer. And now, Jay, again, I'm just stretching, baby. I'm just stretching. I'm not lapping. I'm stretching. I've been on record saying that Urban Meyer is going to absolutely wreck the Jaguars, just wreck them, and then have health issues. I'm seeing tweets where like, how long until Urban Meyer fakes his death so he can leave Jacksonville and go to USC. But now the rumors are swirling. Urban Meyer as a potential head coach candidate for the USC Trojans, which, as a USC fan, I love it. bring him back. Bring Urban to college. There's a difference, man. You can cuss out 18-year-olds. You can cuss out 19-year-olds and make them run laps. You're not doing that to grown men in the NFL. Like that type of coaching style is not going to work in the NFL, especially when you're a coach with absolutely zero clout, zero NFL credential. These dudes are looking at Urban like, bro, I've been here a hell of a lot longer than you've been here. I'm probably going to be here a hell of a lot longer than you're going to be there. Who the hell are you talking to, Urban? I'll slap the living piss out of you. Like, calm down. And we're seeing, and at this point, I don't even know what's fact and fiction. I'm seeing tweets that somebody said he becomes unhinged really quickly. I'm just like, and it was a verified. I'm not verified, so don't take anything I say with the word of salt. A verified account with the check mark said, with a bunch of followers, were like, there are reports out of Jacksonville that Urban Meyer gets unhinged too quickly. Like that's what the tweet was. Unhinged, just crying after preseason losses. I'm not kidding. We need that detective on the case to figure out what's happening, because I don't know. I don't know what's fact and fiction, but I do know that all Jacksonville fans are probably praying he goes to USC. And as a USC fan, we will welcome him back with open arms to get him away from the Jaguars, ruining that team. How bad would Travis Etienne be looking in this offense right now? Like, what would he even do? He'd be returning kicks.
I don't know. I kind of, well, yeah, he would be returning kicks.
He'd be returning kicks.
Urban would tell him he has to earn that running back role. The funny thing is I do think that he would look good in an Urban Meyer offense, which is a little bit unfortunate, now he's not going to play. But to your point about Urban going to USC, it's not the first time he's been rumored to USC. He was rumored to go to USC back when Cliff Kingsbury got hired to go over there, right, when he was still on leave. So, it's interesting, and I think it's a very real possibility. But, yeah, you see accounts all over the place now. Oh, Urban Meyer's not feeling so great. He's a little bit overwhelmed. And, like you said, the health issues might just pop up. He's just a little bit under too much pressure. Anxiety's getting to him. He's not sure if he's cut out to be an NFL head coach. Maybe just take some time off and then pop back up around April and put on a USC helmet, put on those Trojan colors, and go to work again. I would not be shocked in the slightest.
I would take it. I think he's a good college. I think he's a good college coach. He could get away with whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants.
College. Yeah. And so far in the NFL hasn't. I mean, they got their asses handed to them by the Texans, and the Texans are the team that we keep saying is the worst. Like right now, let's just instant reaction.
It's bad.
Who is the worst team you saw this past NFL Week 1? The worst team that just looked like they have no shot in hell. Because I don't think it's the Texans. I don't think it's the Texans.
It's the Falcons.
It's the Falcons. That was my pick.
It's the Falcons. They are atrocious. Like, I just don't understand what it is that they're doing. And the fact that Cordell Patterson is their best player. Like, and I'm not saying that Calvin Ridley isn't their best player. Like, Calvin Ridley is obviously the best player. But Cordell Patterson looked like one of their best offensive weapons.
Yeah, he did.
I would not be shocked if for some reason he got that Derrick Henry role for that offense, because as good as Mike Davis looked, Cordell Patterson looked really good. And for people who don't know, he led the league in 10-yard rushes this past week. So in the NFL, Cordell Patterson, the dude who only had 7 rush attempts, went over 10 yards 4 times. And he led the league in that category. So that should say a lot about how good he was, individually. But the team, terrible. Just terrible. You draft Kyle Pitts 4th overall. I think he only had like 6 targets.
He had 8 targets. Eight targets.
Okay, probably only had like 30 yards.
Probably 4 of them were legit targets.
They're in the red zone on the very first chance. Kyle Pitts is on the sidelines. The dude is 6'6".
Yeah, I don't
250 pounds. Can jump 36 inches in the air. Why? You were one of the least effective red zone teams last season. You draft a guy who is a red zone machine, and for some reason he's on the sidelines. Like, I can't make sense of any of it. They keep, even like 2-3 years ago, they draft 2 guys in the first round for the offensive line. Both of them stink. Both of them are just terrible. That offensive line sucks. They need to get rid of Matt Ryan somehow. They can't because of financial reasons. They're just a dumpster fire, man. Like, I think they're easily the worst team in the NFL. Their defense isn't improved at all. I just don't get what they did in the draft, what they did in the offseason, what Arthur Smith is going to bring to the table. It's early, but they did not look good considering they didn't play in preseason, and
we
they're supposed
talked
to be
about
transforming this offense.
We
It doesn't
talked
make any
about
sense.
that, right? We talked about them not playing in preseason and like why. Like, y'all need to play, man. You guys stink. Like, you need to play. You need to figure out the identity of this team without Julio Jones, and they didn't do that. And I'm not as down on Mike Davis as you. I thought he looked good. I thought Mike Davis, there was a couple of plays where he was blown up in the backfield because of the offensive line, right? But Mike Davis didn't look bad. Mike Davis looked actually pretty damn good. I would say he and Patterson make a good 1-2 tandem, and Mike Davis did still lead the team in carries. He looked good, man. Mike Davis looked good in my opinion. But the Falcons, by far, in my opinion, the Texans look like a competent team.
Really good.
They look like Tyrod Taylor, Brandon Cooks, Danny Amendola scoring touchdowns. The Jaguars, a mess, but much better offensively than what we saw out of Atlanta, right? Much better offensively than what we saw out of Atlanta. The Titans look pretty bad as well, but we expect them to improve, the Tennessee Titans. But in my opinion, and Atlanta gets Tampa Bay next week. Atlanta gets Tampa. Listen, you got to start. You have no choice but to start Pitts. You've got to start Ridley.
Yeah.
If you
can't start Davis. You can't really do it.
Man. I just think that it could get ugly real quick for Atlanta. It could. And it's in Tampa. Yep. It's in Tampa.
And Tampa's favored, I think, by 12.5 already. It opened at 11.5, and they're favored by 12.5. And I don't see how they lose by less than 2
That's
got to
be the highest. Is that the highest point total?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Right now. Let me check it up. It's
Lord have mercy.
It should be higher, like a lot higher, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, who's the best team you saw? Who impressed you the most? What team did you see and you were like, yo, this is a good team? Because there were a lot. I mean, and I'll just throw out a couple of names for you. You've got the Rams. I think they look fantastic on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson. I'm watching Darrell Henderson, and he looked good. I take nothing away.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who touted Darrell Henderson. I know Kyle Yates was a big guy, big Darrell Henderson truther from Fantasy Pros. He looked good, but it just made me think, dude, how good would Cam Akers look in this offense? Like how Cam Akers would be feasting. But you've got Tampa Bay who look fantastic. You have the Arizona Cardinals who look great. Listen, we're just talking both sides of the ball. The Panthers defense looks for real. Matt Rule drafting 8 defenders in the NFL draft in 2020. It looks like it's paying off. That defense looks good. We got to see him against another team other than the Jets, but the Panthers look legit. Kansas City is Kansas City. The Saints
I think the Saints almost have to be my pick. So here's where I'm at right now. I want to give some love to Arizona because they looked fantastic. Like that defense looked so good.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on Tennessee yet. I think they got some work to do, but I do want to give kudos to Arizona. But I think my top 2 are the Saints and Dallas. Dallas's defense played way better than I thought they did. Yeah, pause. I know. Just
pause.
All right.
Time out.
All right.
Time out.
Yeah.
You cannot, and I will not allow you. I will not allow you to talk about Dallas after you just got. Don't get me. Don't get you. I'm starting to get hot. Don't piss me off because you went in last Friday talking about how Dallas did not impress. They played a
No, I said
game.
They didn't play good. That was the question. They didn't play good. They still impressed me, but I didn't think that they played good. That was the question. Don't change the question. They were impressive. I admitted that. But I didn't think they played good. I didn't think Tampa Bay played good. But they did impress me. Their defense especially impressed me. But that doesn't mean they played good. You can be upset about that.
Go. So the Cowboys and the Cardinals were the most impressive teams for you.
Saints. Because the Saints offense looked really, really good.
Saints and the Cowboys.
Saints and the Cowboys would be my 2. Yeah. I think they were probably the 2 teams that impressed me the most.
You, sir, are a fraud, and I just want to say that publicly. You are an absolute fraud.
So if I'm a fraud, who are your two most impressive teams?
The most impressive teams that I saw this weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals, followed closely by the Rams because I just think defensively they are going to be studs. Tampa Bay would be number 4, and then 5th I would have the New Orleans Saints, like 5. The Rams, the Cardinals, the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those would be
all in on defense. All in.
Well, I mean, when your defense is clicking early in the season like that, I think that bodes well, because normally the defense is trying to catch up to the offense. But the Rams, I just think with Stafford, with those receiving weapons, and then they have weapons at each level on defense. On the defensive line, they have weapons at the linebacking core, and then, of course, in the secondary. And it's deeper than just Jalen Ramsey. I mean, they are a good defense. And, I know that it was Andy Dalton and the Bears, but and then the Saints. Like, I don't care if Jameis Winston threw the ball 10 times to essentially shut the Packers out. That's impressive when they weren't given a chance in hell to win that one. But you talking about the Cowboys, I really, that stunned me. I have nothing to say. Let's get into the Monday Night Football recap in the morning run.
Wake up! This is the morning run.
Run, Forrest, run!
All right, y'all know it too. I'm solo screen. Y'all know he's a fraud for even saying that. What a crock of you-know-what for Jordan Richards to come on this camera in front of you good people on this fine Tuesday morning and say that he was impressed most by the Dallas Cowboys. What an absolute joke. But let's talk about the Monday night game and look at Mr. Derek Carr. What's up, haters?
You can't hear him. Speak louder.
Derek Carr is I'm listening to the pregame thing where he's like, I'm a Raider for life. If I had to play for another team, I would just – it's like he's bullying them into not finding a better quarterback. like I'm telling you, this is my team. This is my town. Shut up, Derek Carr. But he balled out. He balled out last night, 34 for 56, 435. 435, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and was force-feeding, what's his name, Darren Waller, like crazy last night. So I've got the notes here. Raiders tied it up with 37 seconds to play on a 55-yard field goal. Is that what we missed here?
Yes, sir.
55
That was after Justin Tucker hit a field goal to get up, with about 40 seconds left. They do the kickoff, they come back. It was 2 passes straight to Bryan Edwards, about 15 yards and 20 yards, and then they run on the field, kick a 55-yard field goal, then they head to overtime.
Man,
it's crazy.
So head to overtime, and just you tell the people what we kind of talked about it already, but you said, well, we talked about this pre-show, so let's just talk about the players, right? Lamar Jackson, when I was watching, he looked good. Like I saw the pass to Hollywood Brown. There was another throw he made across the field. I think it was to Mark Andrews. Maybe it wasn't to Andrews, but he looked good. He was running the ball. It looked like he was standing in the pocket. But I get on with you, and you tell me he didn't play that well. So tell me, was I wrong? Did Lamar play well? How did Lamar look in the game? And I'm looking at his stat line, 19 for 30, 235, 3 sacks, QBR of 57, 86 rushing yards. Hollywood got in the action, so that's good to see. Andrews, their new, 4th highest paid tight end in the league, only 5 targets, 3 for 20. How did Lamar look?
So here's the thing with Lamar, and it's tough to evaluate him a little bit because he didn't play the way I expected him to. I was expecting him to run a lot in this game, and he really didn't that much. He stood in the pocket. He played like a traditional quarterback, but he ran when he had to, which was good to see, obviously. But I expected him to kind of, pull a little bit more, not rely on the running backs as much, and really take over the game himself. But part of the reason why I wasn't overly impressed with what he did was that he makes throws extremely difficult for himself. He's throwing the ball a lot of weird angles, a lot of weird locations. Like there was one throw, he threw it basically in the dirt to somebody, and he kind of just did it because why not? Like every throw looks very haphazard almost when because he's running around, right? And so I compare him to kind of like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, oftentimes he may throw a fadeaway or he will set and throw. Where Lamar, he takes a lot of weird angles and throws the ball a lot of weird trajectories to where it's just very inconsistent. So as a pass catcher, you want the ball to kind of always be delivered the same way. But when he's not setting his feet very often and he's not consistent even when doing that, it makes it more difficult. So it's not that he played terrible, but watching him every single throw, I'm kind of like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just set your feet? Like sometimes he had times, sometimes he didn't. Sometimes he was throwing across his body. Sometimes he was throwing it like crazy sidearms. And like he can do that, but he's not the best at it. So it kind of just seems like he's, I don't want to say overcompensating, but at least for me, I expected him to do more on the ground than he didn't. And then there was obviously the 3 fumbles, which wasn't great. One that he recovered, one was on a bad handoff, so we're not going to count that one. But the game-sealing play, pocket collapsed on him, and he fumbled the ball away at the end of the game. You know, it is what it is. And the Ravens don't have a lot. And you've talked about how they don't have great pass catchers, which I completely agree with. But again, I expected him to compensate for that by kind of taking over. And in some instances he did and looked great, and some instances he didn't. And so it just kind of depends on how you feel about it. But certainly as far as a passer, he was a little bit inconsistent. And, you know, it's only the first week, so it's not a big deal. But I just expected him to kind of set his feet a little bit more and deliver every throw accurately. And I felt like his mechanics were kind of just all over the place at times. He was throwing at a lot of weird angles when he didn't always have to. Again, that's where it depends on how talented are you and can you do that all the time. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of people say that, you know, and this is what I saw. And that's why because I didn't watch majority of the late fourth quarter. I was knocked out. But when I was watching the game, he looked good. That's why, like, that throw to Hollywood was a dime. You know, he's rolling out. They keep the play alive on the scramble drill. Boom. Hits it right there to Hollywood Brown, like on a dime, right in his gut. Like, he looked good. He was standing in the pocket, delivering the ball. He was running around. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, like, mechanics, offensive line. My thing is,
the offensive line was terrible.
We knew this was, like, what really sucks about Lamar Jackson, man. This was supposed to be the year where he finally had a legit wide receiver one, at least what we were projecting Rashad Bateman to be the best receiver that he's ever played with, better than anybody on this roster. And it's just like everything that could go wrong for Baltimore did during the preseason. The offensive line doesn't look good. And is Ronnie Stanley there? Or did they? Yeah. Somebody got traded. They moved one of those.
It was Orlando Brown. He went to Kansas City.
Orlando Brown. Did they trade him, or was he a free agent?
Yeah, they traded him for like a 3rd or 4th round pick or something. Because you remember he had that massive contract too.
Why did they trade him?
I forget. I don't know why, but yeah, Max Crosby just killed Stanley and Villanueva all day long. Yeah, he was in the backfield the whole game. The whole game he's in the backfield.
Wow.
It was wild.
I'm looking at his weapons, right? You got Sammy Watkins, Marquise Brown, Andrews, Tyson Williams, Josh Oliver, Devin Duvernay, Latavius Murray. It's just gross, man. It's gross. And it's just unfortunate for Lamar. You know what I mean? Like, what can he do? How much can you do? And Max Crosby is a beast. Max Crosby is an animal. They're saying Orlando wanted to be a left tackle. This is you gotta have an offensive line, and it's unfortunate that this is like Lamar's season to really, like, he wants to get the bag, he's got to play, but you can't do it all by yourself. Let's talk about the backfield, because there was a lot of intrigue about how that backfield was going to shake out. Lamar led the team in carries and yards, 12 for 86. Tyson Williams, look, he looked like he was shot out of a damn cannon on that carry for a touchdown up the middle.
Down, yeah.
And then he ends the game third and carries behind Latavius Murray's 10 for 28. What is hard? What are they doing, man? Why? Why not just give Tyson the ball?
I think part of it was pass protection. Like, the actual game-sealing play was on a missed assignment by Tyson Williams. So Tyson Williams in the game. And so he missed a block on, I forget it was Carl Nassib. Carl Nassib actually made the play. So he came in, beat his man on the right side, and then Tyson Williams should have at least, tried to chip him, do something, get in the way, and he just completely whiffed. And so that was what ended up collapsing on Lamar, and Lamar ended up fumbling. But I think that's part of it. Like, that game turned into a bit of a shootout towards the end, and so Lamar had to kind of be in shotgun, so they had Latavius in the game a bit more, and Latavius scored, I think, the second last touchdown. So it was really just, I think they wanted to get Murray involved because he's the veteran, and he is a little bit better. But Tyson, like you said, he did look really good. It's just, is he going to be able to play on those third downs, which I'm not as concerned about in Baltimore, but he may end up more of the Gus Edwards role than the J.K. Dobbins role that we hoped for.
I mean,
But he looked good catching passes too.
Yeah,
He
had 4 targets, 3 for 29. So I still think there's a lot of positive to take away from Williams. When they go back and watch the tape, I think they're going to be like, dude, we got to get this kid the ball a little bit more. He's the most explosive running back that we have. Let's get him the ball. If I had Tyson Williams in Dynasty, I would trade him. I would.
Ooh.
I would. He's not
James Robinson?
What? You're
He's
muted.
not James Robinson?
I can't hear you.
What do you
I
mean
can't
you can't hear me?
We cannot hear you. Can people hear me? We cannot hear you, Jordan. Say something.
You can't hear me?
No, I don't. You're not there. We cannot hear you. We'll get you off of the screen. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? Can the people hear me? I would trade Tyson Williams in Dynasty. He would be gone. I like him. He looked good. I think he's going to help teams this season. But no, I do not. Oh, he said he can hear Jordan. So is that me? And you? Is it me?
Damn it, Ray. Come on, man. The people can hear me.
Well, Jay,
you trying to mute
say
me?
They can hear you. I'll put you back in. I can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
Oh, man. Your AirPods
I
failing
can't hear you. Everyone says they can hear me. I can't hear you. So we're going to have to do the whole show. I can't hear a damn thing. I can't hear anything.
Just take your AirPods out. Take your AirPods out. You'll be fine.
What?
That's okay. So either way.
Wait, take them
What
out.
we're going to do.
Put them back in.
Put them in the case. No.
I can't hear anything.
Either way, we're talking about Tyson Williams, right?
Uh-huh.
Tyson Williams probably should be traded. He is probably not James Robinson. You know, the Jacksonville Jaguars really trying to see if Ray can read here. But either way, what I would do. I can hear myself now.
Oh, no, you're back. I hear you.
Okay, so you're saying Tyson Williams is basically not James Robinson, right? That's what you were saying. So now tell us why you think that's the case.
Wait, what did I say?
You said you don't think Tyson Williams is James Robinson. You would trade him right now in Dynasty.
Yeah, I'd trade him. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so tell the people why. Tell the people why. Give us your reasoning. I think Tyson Williams is actually a pretty good running back. I would hold on to him if you got him.
Nah, man, I'm selling high. If people like you are why I'd be selling high. What's he, 25 years old? He's 25? I think he's 25.
No, is he 25? Hold,
Yeah, Tyson
okay,
Williams-
you talk and let me check that.
Yeah, Tyson is 25 years old. He literally had like nothing up until like the training camp. He would be the RB3 on this roster, had 2 ACL injuries not taking place. Once Dobbins is back, I guess he'll work into some weird rotation with Gus Edwards, but you see it, right?
Yeah, he's 25. Just
He's
turned 25 a few days ago.
Yeah, I would be moving him. I'm not. I've learned my lesson. I was anti J-Rob. I was anti J-Rob, and then I went all in on J-Rob, and now I'm like, what can I do to move him if I can? Like, and I think James Robinson is a better running back. I think James Robinson is a better running back than Tyson Williams. He's younger, I believe, but honestly, I'm out, and I'm seeing people saying he's this year's Travis Fulgham. Sell now.
Oh yeah.
Jay Rich, if you didn't mute me, I need to raise Lime Topo Chico take. All right, real quick. Lime Topo Chico, I put it in there. It was cool. Like, I bought lime spit. I BS you not, man. I can go in the kitchen right now. I bought a bag of limes just to try it out with the Topo Chico. I thought it was straight, man. I thought it was straight. I still just prefer straight Topo Chico. The lime was cool. I may do it when I'm feeling a little adventurous, but on a day-to-day, I just want the standard Topo. But yeah, for me, that's what I'm doing in Dynasty. I'm moving Tyson Williams if I can. And if I can't, then I'll just, like, I'm not placing huge expectations. Like, I'll just ride out the production this year, right? Like, I'm not going to trade him for a fourth round pick. I'm not going to trade him for a third. I know that there's value for this season and maybe at the start of next year with both those guys coming off of ACL injuries. I wouldn't trade him for cheap, but if I can't move him, then I'll just hold him. Like, no big deal for me. Like, that's just where I'm at with Williams. 25-year-old back who's supposed to be the third stringer, gets elevated and propped up, and he still isn't even getting all the work. If you can get like a 2023 second, I would do that. Like, I would do a 2023 second for Tyson Williams right now.
Yeah. So now I want to talk to you about Latavius Murray, because
Okay.
people don't like Latavius Murray. I actually did like him. Jones looked vastly better. So he got cut, didn't want to take the pay cut, ends up in Baltimore, ends up getting a lot of work this week. So how do we feel about that running back room now? Do we think it's Tyson Williams? Do we want some Latavius Murray? Latavius Murray got those late carries and scored a touchdown in this game.
No.
I understand that we don't like Latavius Murray, but is the role worth it?
No.
People are going to go after him this week on waivers.
No.
Would you just completely say not worth it at
No.
all? You think Bell and Freeman kind of work into the system?
Yeah, I'm good on Latavius Murray. Like, I hear you. I'm good. No. What are you like? When would you ever feel good putting it? You're holding him as a just in case all these players get hurt. You're not playing Latavius Murray. You would start Tyson Williams next week. I don't care what happens.
But what if Latavius beats him out?
I don't think that's gonna happen. 9 for 65 and 1, 3 receptions, 29 yards on 4 targets. I'm good. Hard pass. I'll let a league mate take him. I wouldn't spend. If I would, this is what I would do. I'd put in a $0 bid for Latavius Murray. And if I happen to get him, fine. But I'm not clearing out roster space for him. I think the open roster space is worth more than Latavius Murray. Because if something were to happen to Tyson Williams, I still don't think it's Latavius Murray's backfield. Lamar would carry the ball 15, 16, 17 times a game, and they'd work in Bell and Freeman. I have no interest in Latavius Murray. Just real quick, one more time. Darren Waller, it seemed like the first quarter and a half, if it wasn't going to Darren Waller, there were no targets to be had. What are your thoughts on Henry Ruggs, man? Like,
oh, Henry Ruggs.
what a wasted pick. What a wasted pick. And I'm not even hating on Ruggs at this point. He gets no opportunity, man. 5 targets, and I know for a fact when I was watching the game, he had 0. So at least for 2 quarters, he didn't have a damn target. What a waste, man. Like, what a waste. Yeah. What a waste. Yeah. And again, this isn't even knocking Henry Ruggs. They don't even give him a chance. All I see him do is line up in the slot and run downfield. That is it. Like, he is a decoy for Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
Like, you can say Eagles took Rager over Jefferson till your face turns blue. The Raiders took Ruggs over everybody.
Everyone.
And at least week 1, Rager showed you something, right? He showed
you a lot.
He looked more explosive. He caught 6 passes. He scored a touchdown. Gruden is why even pick a guy number 12 over Judy? Oh, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, you see, even the other point of news from that game that people may have caught, maybe didn't catch, but Clelin Ferrell was a healthy scratch. He didn't even play. He was like the 4th overall pick in that same draft, and he didn't even play week 1. He was a healthy scratch. How do you take a guy that high in the draft to a year later or a couple years later, I forget whether it was 2019 or 2020, he got drafted, and he's not even on your active roster? He is scratched from the game. Like, I don't understand how, like, that's literally the equivalent of basically Jamarcus Russell not playing at all in his second season.
Dude, the Raiders had 3 first-round picks in 2019, and they took Clelin Ferrell at 4 over Devin White. T.J. Hawkinson went top 8.
Everybody.
Ed Oliver, Rashawn Gary. This class looks pretty gross overall. But then they took Josh Jacobs at 24 over Hollywood Brown, over Montez Sweat. Then they took Jonathan Abram at 27. So Abram, Jacobs, and Clelin Ferrell. This class was gross. This was the class where A.J. Brown went 51 and DK Metcalf went 64. Deontay Johnson 66. Just, I don't get it, man. Insane. Insane.
But Waller, Raiders, though, to your point about Waller.
Yeah, Waller's
19 targets, 7 in the first quarter. But after that, they were 1 for 7 early on in the game. But then they just started connecting. They started going to Renfrow more. They opened the field up a little bit, and the running game got going. Josh Jacobs, I believe, is dealing with an ankle or a turf toe injury. I don't know exactly what it was. I didn't really catch it. I was kind of I had the game on mute mostly, so I was kind of watching the game unfold. But Jacobs was kind of in and out with an injury. He didn't play at the end of the game, but I believe he did score 2 touchdowns and looked pretty good when he was in there. So to the people who's kind of concerned about Josh Jacobs, he had a little bit of an illness coming in. People weren't sure how he was going to perform. Looked really good even against this Baltimore Ravens run defense and played well. It just depends on kind of what this injury is, and so it may pop up during the week. We may find out some more information. But overall, looked really, really good, and Drake did not look so good. So I think it's Josh Jacobs' job for sure.
Check this out. Right now, you can still get Darren Waller. You can get plus odds. It's not juiced up or anything, but plus 100 for over 7.5 touchdowns on the season. So he needs 7 more touchdowns on the season to hit that.
Yeah.
And then minus 111 for 1050 and a half receiving yards on the season. If Darren Waller,
that number's still out there.
If Darren Waller's getting
15 targets a game.
I'm being conservative. If he's getting 10 to 13 targets a game, he's going to hit both of these overs. So just saying, you can get that pricing right now for Darren Waller today. MGM has him at over 1,050 and a half, minus 1,100. And you can get him at over 7.5 touchdowns for plus 100. You can get that pricing for Darren Waller. I'm considering jumping in on that. Let's kind of talk about real quick. Let's stick with the NFL and talk about what changes have been made to the MVP odds. Let's talk about the MVP. So going into the season, favorites for MVP, Patrick Mahomes was a favorite. Who else was up there? It was like Patrick Mahomes.
Tom Brady wasn't too favored, but Josh Allen was really high. Josh Allen was like plus 800 really to win.
So where are we at now with the MVP odds?
So you got Mahomes at plus 550, which was kind of interesting, but Matt Stafford coming all the way down to the second favorite at plus 800. Russell Wilson was pretty high up there. He was plus 1,000. Tom Brady, remember you got him, I believe, at 15 to 1 or 14 to 1. He's 14 now to 1. 10 to 1. Kyler Murray's 10 to 1. Josh Allen is 14 to 1 after his not so great game against Pittsburgh. Dak Prescott 14 to 1, Rodgers 16 to 1, Lamar 16 to 1, Herbert 20 to 1, Jameis Winston 25 to 1, and then another interesting name for you, Jalen Hurts at 35 to 1.
Russell Wilson, you can get him at DraftKings plus 1,000 as well. So a lot of guys kind of jumped right there at 10 to 1. You said Jalen Hurts is what?
35 to 1.
So here's what I wanted to say. I wanted to tweet this out yesterday, but let's talk about Matt Stafford real quick. And the power of the big city media market is real. And Matt Stafford is a product of that because Matt Stafford has been a beast in the NFL. I mean, he helped turn Calvin Johnson into a Hall of Famer, for crying out loud. Matt Stafford he's been a beast. He has been an absolute stud. But because he's playing in Detroit, it's like you knew it, but no one ever really talked about Stafford, being up there in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. But this move to LA, playing in LA, being in SoFi Stadium, playing with this Rams team and Sean McVay, like it seems like more and more people are starting to really come around not come around, but I guess recognize how damn good Matt Stafford is. And to see him with the second highest MVP odds after week 1 is pretty cool. And I think that at plus 8,900, I would take that. I don't think that's a bad bet. That's still a good price to get. The Rams are going to be good, and that's no shade to Detroit, but there's a big difference between playing in Detroit and marketing yourself in Detroit opposed to marketing yourself in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, California. Yep. And I think across a lot of sports, you see the Zion Williamson smoke. Like Zion in New Orleans is a star. Zion in New York is an international.
Whole nother level.
Is a whole nother level. Zion in New York is a whole nother level. LeBron in Cleveland, a little bit different because he's from Cleveland. That's his home. I don't really think that's comparable, but going from Cleveland to LA, it's just a difference.
And Cleveland to Miami, right? Crazy.
In Miami, we're seeing a difference, and Matt Stafford is finally at 33 years old getting his flowers of how good he is. And I'm not saying that people that are watching this show are like, oh, Ray, I knew he was going to do it. But I'm just saying a lot of uninitiated people who don't tap in like we do they are getting their first real glimpse at Matt Stafford. If Jameis Winston wins NFL MVP, then something is quite wrong in the world. Yeah, I would probably not touch that bet, even at 35-1. But what I will say about Jameis, we spent a lot of time joking on his workouts and him going through the thing and getting knocked around.
The hip thing and
dodging just looking a mess. He's working, man. He's working, and I respect it, and it's paying off, and it looks good. And then Rico says, and Stafford was playing in the shadow of Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North. I mean, right now, I still have my highest confidence in Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and probably Matt Stafford. Arizona, if they continue to play the way they do and they push to win if Arizona can beat out LA to win the NFC West, I think Kyler will have a really good shot. I think that's all Kyler. I think Kyler will have a really, really good shot. Okay, Vaughn, okay, I like this. I like Jameis comeback odds. What are Jameis? Let's see what that is.
Second on DK plus 550. He's second to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's at plus 175. Jameis is at plus 550. Joe Burrow plus 650. Christian McCaffrey 650. Saquon Barkley 11-1. Michael Thomas still 12-1 for some reason. But yeah, Jameis, new second favorite at plus 550.
Well, you can still get him at plus 1,000 in some places. You can still get 10-1 on Jameis. You can still get 10-1 on Jameis Winston. That's a good call, Vaughn. I like that. And
you think about if he lifts New Orleans, that's the storyline you're looking for, right? It's not just Jameis coming from Tampa Bay, 30 interceptions to backup to Saints starter. It's Jameis and the Saints lifting all of New Orleans and Louisiana in this time after Hurricane Ida, and that is the storyline that wins Comeback Player of the Year. I believe, did J.J. Watt win it when Houston got hit with their? That was when he won Man of the Year, right?
Yeah, I think he won Man of the Year.
That was when he won Man of the Year.
What? I mean, did he? Did J.J. Watt win a Comeback Player of the Year?
I believe he has won a Comeback Player of the Year. Yeah, but that's a good point. Jameis Winston plus 550 even still. I think that storyline of Ida and, obviously going to Jacksonville and winning this game against the Packers is already a crazy start to their season, but we don't know when they're going to be able to play at home. If they're going to be able to play at home, they may be playing on the road for 17 games this year. So that storyline, and Vaughn said in the comments, that storyline, it trumps Dak, I think, in a way that you just can't.
Whoa.
If they win 10, 11 games... If they win 10, 11 games, that's a pretty good storyline. The storyline that's going to get a lot more coverage if the Saints keep winning.
Listen, man.
It's a very good point.
I'm open to it all.
We got some smart commenters, man. We got some smart people in the chat.
I'm open to it all. I do not know everything. I know a lot of everything. So I'm open. They're not. Are they playing at home?
It's not just Dak, right? They don't know. They don't know when they're going to be able to play at home because the city's still in turmoil, right?
All right.
I don't think it's even confirmed when they're going to be able to play at home.
Hey, that's why it's called a bet. It's a bet. This is not the for certain thing. I'm seeing people give Jameis that 1 week of fame before it's over next week. Who does New Orleans play next week?
So they don't play at home. So they're in Carolina. Then they go to New England after that. So they got 2 more road games, and they don't come home until October 3rd against the Giants, assuming they can come home on the 3rd against the Giants.
I mean, here's the thing, man. He threw the ball 20 times. 5 of those 20 passes were touchdowns. What are the odds of that ever happening again, ever?
It was the first time it happened. I think it was the lowest number of attempts to throw 5 touchdowns, I think, of all time, or very close to it, like in 50 years or 60 years or something. It was a crazy stat.
I'll say this. If Jameis can lead New Orleans to a wild card berth, or if they could take down Tom Brady, because they always play, the Bucs and the Saints always play well. Let's just say I gotta pull this up now because I need to see when they play.
Don't play until the 31st. So they play in New Orleans, assuming they can play at home on October 31st. That'll be probably your Fox game of the week. That'll be America's game of the week more than likely. It's a 4:30 start.
So if Tampa Bay's undefeated going to that, and Jameis Winston beats Tampa Bay, I think that sets up for a some comeback player of the year. There has to be a story, right? There has to be a performance and a story, because can't you just see at the NFL award show the highlight reel of everything that they had to go through, and the devastation in the city, and Jameis Winston wins this camp battle with Taysom Hill, comes out and just leads New Orleans to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wild card.
He wasn't even
And
named the starter. There was
wasn't
uncertainty
even named
everywhere.
Tell a story. You said something that
And
is
he bet
sticking
on
with
himself too.
Make
He
your
bet on
bet tell a
himself.
story. Make your bet
Yeah.
tell a story. Your bet needs to. Where's the story at? And I'm still rolling with Dak. I'm not changing anything up. But at what is it? 35 to what is? Oh, his comeback player.
It's 5.5 to 1. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
He's the second favorite now.
Yeah,
so
I would
placing a bet on it now is late. But
Yeah.
you think about that story. It's a good story. It would make for a great story if he did actually win it.
I don't, in the stock market, they say never try to catch a falling knife. That doesn't end well. So I probably will relax on this one. But those of you who got Jameis because his odds had to have been a hell of a lot lower than what they are today. Real quick before we get out of here, rookie offensive player of the year odds. You know who's leading the charge on rookie? Well, let's talk. Chase is bumped up to plus 1,200. Smitty at plus 1,000. I'll be doing the rookie report that's dropping tomorrow. Make sure you check that out. Justin Fields at 8 to 1. Zach Wilson 8 to 1. Trey Lance 7.5 to 1. Najee 6.5 to 1. Trevor Lawrence 5 to 1. And you know who is leading the offensive rookie of the year charge? Who is it?
It's Mac Jones, baby, after his stellar debut against the Dolphins.
All right, now I'm not stretching, I'm running, baby. Make sure y'all tap in tomorrow. GQ is running this Mac Jones victory lap. What do you have to say, Jordan?
I have to say that I'm proud of you. You know, we have some pushback on whether Mac Jones would be a fantasy quarterback. I'm not looking great in that regard, but you did drive home the fact that he would probably win the job and he would look great doing it. So I have to give you credit for that. I like Mac Jones. He's looked great so far. But those week 3, week 4, he gets the Saints at home, and then he's got to play the Bucs. But regardless, he had a great first start against another great team in Miami.
We appreciate y'all tapping in. You appreciate y'all waking up with us every single day. Make sure you subscribe to the pod. Follow Jordan at your boy Jay Rich on Twitter. Holla at me at RayGQ. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the weekend slate. We got to start that earlier. I don't want to fly through that shit at the end of the week.
And I got some early lines in too, some early bets, so we can review all those with the people and see how those lines have changed.
I took an L on my YOLO parlay. I'm not doing that shit again. I took a massive L on this touchdown bet thing, and only like 2 of the players scored touchdowns. But we're gonna do better this week. Make sure y'all tap in. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great day. We out of this thing. Peace.